Hello, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel, More Knowledge Less Show. I am so happy that you are here. If you're new or returning, I'm very grateful that you're here today. I hope that you're having a wonderful week, month, year, day, hour, minute, and if that's not the case, it's okay. Sometimes we need to hit rock bottom to bounce back right to the top. As you all know, this is the most wonderful time of the year where it's spooky and ghostly and eerie, and we can talk about haunted places and haunted stories, scary stories, eerie stories, all things that make us get the heebie jeebies. Today, we're going to dive into haunted places around the world. I have gathered 5 different stories from different continents to keep it fresh. So let's turn off the light, get really cozy, and start our video. Phantasmal Prague, Czech Republic. Stav Mirink of early 20th century wrote in his classic mystical novel The Golem, "I felt as if the houses were staring down at me with malicious expressions, full of nameless spite. The doors were black, gaping mouths in which the tongues had rotted away." The golem is a mythical creature referred to in the Bible and the Talmud and supposedly fashioned from clay by wise men. One of its creators was Rabbi Judah Loew ben Bezalel during the reign of Rudolf II in the late 16th century. Rabbi's aim? To protect Prague's Jewish quarter from pogroms and anti-Semitism. Given the events of subsequent centuries, he wasn't entirely successful. Maybe that's why the golem is never seen on the streets of this Bohemian city. However, plenty of other supernatural beings are. If Prague isn't the most haunted metropolis in Europe, it certainly offers one of the widest varieties of otherworldly entities. Here, you will find not just the ghost of Headless Templar and benevolent spirit in the convent of St. Agnes, which reignited pagan fires on Patron Hill, a goblin that lives under the Charles Bridge, and a skeleton that is said begs drunks for money. Prague may be one of the few cities with a monument to a ghost. The statue of a man named Himberka stands on Platnerska Street in the city's old town. His history goes like this. Returning from war, Berka believed a false rumor that his fiancée had been unfaithful to him. Furious, he married another woman, and when his fiancée found out, she drowned herself. A distraught Berka then killed his wife and hung himself. Now, legend says, his wandrous spirit gets a shot at salvation only once every 100 years. If he can find a virgin and talk to her for an hour, he will end his ghostly servitude. The Ghosts of the Gorge, Table Mountain, South Africa. When seen at sunset, Cape Town's Table Mountain has its own distinctive cloud cover, known as a tablecloth. Ancient inhabitants thought this was the result of the mantis god extinguishing a fire, while a most recent history attributes the phenomenon to a smoking contest between the legendary parrot and the devil himself. If you climb Glatiklip Gorge to the top of Table Mountain, you will pass an abandoned house in the woods. Though it once supposedly belonged to a wine merchant, the ruins are now rumored to be haunted by Angie Summers, a slave who died from overwork and who now appears as an often mischievous, sometimes destructive spirit. Angie just might pelt you with stones on your way to the summit. Indeed, she is something of a local boogie woman. Misbehaving children are warned, be good or Angie Summers will get you. She may not be your only companion on the gorge, which is known to be a favorite haunt of mountain ghosts. One such spirit is thought to be that of a boy who plays a ghostly flute, Erlatenbosch, known as the Bush of the Forsaken. According to the legend, the name was given when a man who held a grudge against the governor, gave the official's son a flute that had been infected by a leper. After contracting the then incurable disease, the boy spent the rest of his life, and perhaps eternity, playing his flute in the forest. Though it's also supposedly home to ancient demons, light beings, and giants, Table Mountain offers beautiful views, picnicking areas, and awesome hikes. However, those who leave their trash behind should watch out for Angie Summers. The Demonic Domain, Ruins of Babylon. Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit. Revelation 18:2. About 60 miles from Baghdad lies what's left of Babylon, the city where Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar once ruled, now a patch of barren land and plundered treasure. The legendary Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, are lost to history. And of course, the famed Ishtar Gate was taken by the Germans in the early 20th century, and Turks used bricks still marked with the Nebuchadnezzar name to build dams in the Euphrates. Ancient Babylonians believed the destruction of sacred idols meant their divinities had abandoned them to evil forces, and it's not hard to imagine that this ravaged wasteland is haunted by the likes of their Ekimu, the restless spirits of souls who were not properly buried, Utuku, demons who haunt abandoned places, and Alu, faceless creatures who crush sleeping humans. Let us not forget that Pazuzu, the demon from The Exorcist, was a Babylonian demonic god. It has also been reported that there's presence of jinn, a supernatural creature of Arabic mythology that may also linger here, since they're known to haunt ruins. And no, this isn't just an ancient superstition. In November 2014, the residents of Kut, a city about 90 miles from the Babylonian ruins, became convinced that jinn were burning their houses. The Drowned Girl's Exorcism, Island of the Dolls, La Isla de las Muñecas. Drifting in a boat through a tangle of narrow canals in Xochimilco, a district of Mexico City, you'll find yourself heading toward an isolated island. Oh, it might seem like any other island at first. As you move closer, you'll start to see the dolls. Yes, dolls. It is called Isla de las Muñecas, Island of the Dolls, home to thousands of mutilated toys hanging from trees and lying on the forest floor, eyeless skulls infested by insects. More than 50 years ago, Julian Santana Barrera, the island's hermit caretaker, allegedly found a drowned girl in a nearby canal, and her doll floating alongside her. Later, when he heard crying and footsteps around his shack at night, he became convinced that he was being haunted by the girl's restless spirit. In an attempt to appease the ghost, he hung her doll in a tree. But the hauntings didn't stop. Barrera began hanging more dolls, creating an eerie amalgam of ritual offering and primitive art installation. In time, Barrera came to believe that all dolls were possessed and that the island was not only haunted, but cursed. Some locals agree. Don't expect your boatman to join you on the island, for instance. Some won't even look at it as they approach. Others say they've seen the dolls moving or opening their eyes. Still, others claim the toys whisper and gesture to passers-by as if saying, "Join us." In 2001, Barrera reportedly drowned in the same spot as the girl. Locals believe he, too, now haunts the island, which has become a bona fide tourist attraction. The Amityville Horror House, Long Island, New York. On November 13, 1974, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. slaughtered the 6 members of his family at 112 Ocean Avenue in the village of Amityville, New York. Following the murders, many theories appeared trying to explain what had happened and what had led a 23-year-old who had his life in front of him to this dark, unimaginable path. One theory behind the events: Ronald DeFeo Jr. was no mere psychopath, but somehow possessed by the house's evil spirits, which may have emanated from the ancient Indian burial ground it was allegedly built on. Pleading insanity, DeFeo said he heard voices that told him to kill his family. 1 year later, after the murders, newlyweds George and Kathy Lutz bought the murdered family's Dutch colonial estate that had a bargain basement price outweighing its gruesome history. Moving in with Kathy's 3 children from previous marriage, the Lutzes soon began experiencing phenomena that had nothing to do with the everyday horrors of home ownership. Red eyes at the windows, swarm of flies sweeping through the walls, cloven hoofs in the snow, and a sepulchral voice screaming, "Get out!" Unwilling to have the same destiny as the DeFeo family, Lutzes fled the house, leaving all their possessions behind, after a mere 28 days of having moved in. These are the stories for today. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and if you know other haunted places or stories from the ones I've mentioned, feel free to leave them down as well, because I'll be checking them out. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful rest of your day, week, year, month. I hope it's all things good for you guys. Until we meet again, bye-bye. Let me know if you guys were able to sleep or had to hide under the bed.